Washington. The U.S. government has slapped sanctions on 6 North Korean ships, 16 individuals and 9 companies that it said had facilitated Pyongyang's weapons programs in a continuing effort to further isolate the regime. The sanctions were announced shortly after Japan announced one of its spy planes had photographed a North Korean tanker that was likely to be violating sanctions by transferring cargo from one ship to another. The Hong Kong-flagged Lighthouse Winmore was seized by South Korean officials for alleged sanctions violations last month. Photo app. According to Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, photos taken Saturday show the Rye Song Gang one pulling alongside a Dominican-flagged ship, the Yuk Tang, in the middle of the night. Shortly after the sun rose on Saturday morning, the two ships sailed away from each other. The government strongly suspects the two engaged in offshore delivery, which was banned by UN Security Council resolutions, the ministry said in a statement. The sanctions are a part of a strategy by the Trump administration to pressure North Korea into abandoning its nuclear weapons and long-range missiles. Increasingly, the administration has been turning its attention to the smuggling going on despite a round of UN sanctions. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson attended a conference in Vancouver last week in which diplomats from 20 nations discussed ways to intensify pressure on North Korea, particularly by stopping ship-to-ship transfers in open water. The United States is trying to build support for its campaign to get nations to blacklist ships involved in smuggling goods to North Korea from any port in the world, and conduct maritime interdiction. The sanctions by the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control listed 6 ships that sail under the North Korean flag: the Gu Ryong, the cargo ships Rye Song, Unreal and Everglory, the tanker Kim Unsan, and the cargo ship Ulji Bong 6, which loaded on coal at a North Korean port and delivered it to Russia in September. Under the sanctions designations, the vessels are blocked, which imposes a ban on transfers or dealings of any kind. Americans are prohibited from dealing with the companies that own them, and international banks that do any kind of transactions with them are subject to U.S. sanctions. Several of the 16 individuals sanctioned work in China near the North Korean border at the Korea Rye Bong General Corporation, which the Treasury Department already has sanctioned. According to Treasury, Rye Bong supports North Korea's military, helping it acquire chemicals, drilling equipment, hoses, metal and machines. Some work for Rye Bong in Russia or Georgia, including one said to arrange jobs overseas for North Korean laborers whose salaries largely go to the North Korean government. Other sanctioned individuals work for banks in China and Russia that are linked to a North Korean bank. The sanctioned companies are from China and North Korea, the Beijing Chengxing and Dandong Jinxiang trading companies, Hana Electronics, which is one of North Korea's few electronics manufacturers, and the owners of the 6 North Korean ships, Gu Ryong, Hwasong, Korea Kumunsan, Korea Marine and Industrial Trading, and CK International. According to Treasury, Chengxing has sold 2 tons of high-purity metals to a subsidiary of Rye Bong. Dandong Jinxiang exported more than $500 million of used computers and other goods to North Korea, pursuant to UN Security Council resolutions. The U.S. government is targeting illicit actors in China, Russia, and elsewhere who are working on behalf of North Korean financial networks, and calling for their expulsion from the territories where they reside, said Secretary of the Treasury Steven Mnuchin. We are sanctioning additional oil, shipping, and trading companies that continue to provide a lifeline to North Korea to fuel this regime's nuclear ambitions and destabilizing activities. Washington Post.